reproduction in organisms chapter. So in the last class we discussed that different types of reproductions, and in animals we discussed in detail. So now in plants, reproduction in organisms, the same chapter we will continue, and here in this class we will discuss with the different types of asexual reproduction in plants. So in plants it is called vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation. See that vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation. So here, what is vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation? Means in this type of asexual reproduction, the vegetative parts of the plant are somatic cells. So we know that every organism has two types of cells, somatic cells and genetic cells or germ cells. Here this reproduction takes place by the vegetative parts or somatic cells of the plant. So that's why it is called vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation. So propagation means a somatic cell gives the entire organism or offspring. So that is the propagation. And can we say that vegetative reproduction is an asexual reproduction? Yes, exactly. We can say that vegetative reproduction is also a type of asexual reproduction. Reason why we are calling it as asexual reproduction means here there is no involvement of two parents. So two parents are not involved. So it is called asexual reproduction, and only the part of the plant is taking part in the reproduction process. So that's why it can be said that asexual reproduction. So it is important to note that, and can we say that vegetative reproduction is an asexual reproduction, and reason. So why we are calling it as a asexual reproduction means here the vegetative parts are involved in the reproduction process, so we are calling it as a asexual reproduction. And one more word we have to understand here, vegetative propagules. Vegetative propagules. So what are vegetative propagules means? The parts which are participating in the vegetative reproduction. The parts which are participating in the reproduction process are called vegetative propagules. And say for example, if stem is participating in this reproduction, stem is a vegetative propagule, or root or leaf, and in some cases even flower also, but not androecium and gynoecium. So we can say that parts which are participating in the vegetative propagation are called vegetative propagules. Example, stem, root, leaf, or even flower in some cases. So vegetative propagules. And now we will come to that, what are the parts involved in the vegetative propagation. So first we will take it as stem. And we know that stem is a vegetative part of the plant. And so there are three types of stems: underground stem, subaerial stem and aerial stem. So already we learnt in the first PU what are the types of stems and stem modifications and all. So here the same modifications like a tubers or rhizome or bulbs, these are the parts where the reproduction takes place, okay, and to produce young ones or entire plant. So here stem, in this first we will take underground stem. Underground stem. So underground stem means within the soil or under the ground part. So it is not visible part. Underground stem will participate in the vegetative reproduction. And it is of again three types like tubers and rhizomes and bulb. So underground stem, again there are three different kinds of vegetative propagation like tubers, rhizomes, bulbs. So in tubers, example potato, we can give it as a potato. If you see that potato, on the surface of that potato it contains ice. So we know that when we are seeing that potato, it contains ice. From that ice, the bulb or bud is formed. When we are taking that bud or when that bud is reached to the soil, a new plant will be arised. So that is the tubers. So tuber, example potato. Potato surface contains ice, and that ice, from that ice, a bud is formed. When it reaches to the soil, again the new plant will be arised. And then rhizomes. So rhizomes, example ginger. Rhizome, example ginger. Ginger contains nodes and internodes. So it contains like, so if you take the ginger, so it contains nodes and internodes. From these internodes, so from these internodes, the buds are formed. Buds are formed. And when it reaches to the soil, the new plant will be arised. So that is the rhizomes. Here the buds are formed from the internodes. So buds are formed from the internodes. And in tubers, buds are formed from the ice. And bulbs. So the next type of underground stem modification is bulb. Here example is onion and garlic. Onion and garlic. So here onion, when we see that onion or garlic in general, that bulb is surrounded by several layers of leaves. So when we are seeing that onion, so onion inside that the bulb is present, and so around that bulb, so there are so many layers of leaves are present. So when it will be planted in that soil, then a new plant will be arise from this bulb. So that is the another type of reproduction by means of underground stem modifications. So these are the types of underground modifications from where the new plants are raised. And the next one is subaerial stem. Subaerial stem. So in a subaerial stem means some part of the stem is underground and some part of the stem is visible. In the visible part of the stem, and again there are the different types of parts participating in the vegetative propagation. And if you will see that again in this, the first one is offset, and second one suckers, and third one runners. See that? Subaerial stem. Again it is of three types. One is offset, suckers and runners. So first we will see the offset. Here a horizontal branch is arised from the plant. So for example, if it is a plant, and from this the horizontal branch is formed like this. And from this horizontal branch, above the branch leaves are formed and below the branch roots are formed. So it is a rapidly increasing type of reproduction by which the more number of plants will be arised in a short period of time. So, and from this again one more horizontal branch will be arised, and again same, above the branch leaves are formed and below the branch roots are formed. So example for this is, so I like two examples. One is Eichhornia. It is commonly called water hyacinth. And another example and well-known example is Pistia. So Eichhornia and Pistia. Eichhornia is known as terror of Bengal. So we have to remember this. It is known as terror of Bengal. Why it is called terror of Bengal means it actually introduced from the foreign to India, especially to Bengal, to beautiful flowers, and it has beautiful flowers and beautiful leaves, so that for that purpose these are imported to India and introduced in Bengal, and in a short period of time it occupies the entire water body, and that's why it is called. There is no another chance for the entry of the oxygen. So for that, the aquatic animals which are living below that water are not surviving. So that's why it is called terror of Bengal. And another example for this is Pistia. And the next one, suckers. So these suckers are formed from the axillary buds. An example for this is oxalis. Example for suckers is oxalis. And another one is runners. Runners are that. So these are the subaerial stem arised from the subaerial stem and having long internodes from which roots are arised. So these are having long internodes. So like this. And from these internodes the roots are arised. So these are the runners. Example for these runners is grasses. Grass plants are the examples for runners. So subaerial stem, there are three types: offset, where the horizontal branch is arised; suckers, from the axillary buds the vegetative parts are arised; from the runners the long internodes contains roots. So example, grasses. And the third type is aerial stem. Aerial stem. So here the complete stem is visible and it contains nodes and internodes. So it contains nodes and internodes from where we are getting the new plant. So example for this is sugar cane. Sugar cane. So example for the aerial stem vegetative propagation. Example, sugar cane. And we know that when we see the stem of the sugar cane, it contains the nodes and internodes from where the roots are arised. So when we plant that part, so the new plant will be arised. So these are the vegetative part, that is stem. So there are three types of stems: underground stem, subaerial stem and aerial stem. So in that the different types of vegetative reproduction are these. And the next way we come to know that leaves. So how the leaves are helps in the vegetative propagation. Leaves. Leaf is also participating in the vegetative reproduction process. And here example is bryophyllum. Bryophyllum. In bryophyllum, the leaf surface develops a number of buds from the surface or from the margin of the leaf. The buds are arised, and after attaining its maturity, these buds detach from the leaf and develops into new plant. So this is a leaf. And another one is roots. In some plants, the roots are also participate in the vegetative propagation. Example, agave. Agave. So in agave plants, the roots are involved in the process of vegetative reproduction. Okay. And these are the different types of vegetative reproduction in plants. So we have to remember that one thing, that is the stem, root and leaves. These are the part where the vegetative reproduction takes place, and as a result of this reproduction, the new plants arise from the vegetative parts of the plant. And the next we will see that one thing, there is we can say that artificial, these are all called natural vegetative reproduction. So naturally in the plants this type of vegetative reproduction takes place. But we can also develop artificially vegetative propagation. So in that artificial vegetative reproduction, The first one is cutting. Cutting. So in this process, the cut, whether a stem or root or leaf, if we cut that part and plant it in the soil, it develops into a new plant. It is artificially developing process. Cutting is the, say for example, stem. In so many plants like jasmine or any hibiscus, in this what we will do? We will cut the stem and we will plant it in the soil. So where it contains nodes. Okay. From that nodes, the roots will be arise and entire plant will be developed. So that is called cutting. Example, we will give hibiscus or jasmine. And another method is layering. So layering, see first the plant is present here, and from this the branches will arise like this, and after coming the some length of the branch, it will be incorporated into the soil. See, it is the soil, and another branch will be arised from this. The part of the branch which incorporated into the soil. So here the roots will be arised. Roots will be developed from this. And where the roots are developed, and again from this the new plant will be arised. And same process. Again this will be the another incorporation into the soil. So here also the roots will be arised like this. An example for this is, so some types of jasmine, and jasmine we can be cultivated in both the methods, like cutting and also in layering. So jasmine and chrysanthemum and pineapple. So these plants will be developing by using layering method. So another one is grafting. Grafting. In the grafting, the two branches are collected from two different plants. So here only one branch is taking part. In the cutting process, only one branch is collecting. But here in the grafting, the two branches are taking from the two different plants of the same species. Say for example, if any mango or banana. So from these plants, the two branches are collecting. Say for example, mango. From two mango trees, the two branches are collecting and they are joining. This is the branch from the one plant and another one, and this is the branch from some other plant. So there are two plants, we are taking two branches. This is the branch from one mango tree and this is the branch from another mango tree. So when these two are joining with each other and binding tightly, so then from this part the new plant will be arised. So from this part, from where we are joining, then it starts to develop the leaves on other branches of the tree. So this is called grafting. And here in these two branches are there, right? Part for which it is giving support to other branch, it is called stalk. So this is the branch with giving the support to the another branch. It is called stalk and it is called scion. Scion means another branch which is getting support. Okay, it is giving support and it is getting support. So giving support is a stalk, getting support is a scion. Okay, these are the artificial methods of vegetative reproduction. Okay. And we will discuss with the advantages of vegetative reproduction. Advantages of vegetative propagation. So what are the advantages from the vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation? And here, from a single parent or from a single part of the plant, even a small part of the plant can give rise to the complete plant. Okay, a small part is enough to give an entire plant. And here, within a short period of time, the number of plants will be increased rapidly. So within a short period of time, say for example, water hyacinth, within a short period of time, within a month or within a days, so it completely occupied the river of Bengal. So that's why due to the vegetative propagation, the number of the species of the plant will be increased in rapidly. And another one is the parental characters, whatever the parent has the characters, and that parental characters will be continued, same characters will be continued for generation after generation. There is no variability, there is no chance of variability. So as it is, whatever the plant contains, the characters, the same characters will be existed in the new plant. And that's why we are developing artificial vegetative propagation. See, in the artificial vegetative propagation, we can select the best characters to develop a new plant. So that is the one advantages, to develop desirable characters. To develop desirable characters. So these are the advantages of vegetative reproduction. And disadvantages. So mostly these disadvantages we can see in the natural type of vegetative reproduction. Reason, what are the disadvantages of this vegetative propagation? The first one is, if the parent has any disease, the same disease will be existed in the offspring. So diseases also be continued in the generation after generation. And another disadvantages is, if the plant species number is increasing rapidly, so it definitely affects the other species. Okay, especially in aquatic ecosystem. In aquatic ecosystem, if the plant number increases, the animals or another plants which are living inside the water bodies, inside, not on the surface, inside the water bodies, they may get the effect due to the less supply of oxygen. So that is the one more disadvantages. And another disadvantages, there is no chance of variability. No chance of variability. Means no chance of the producing the desirable species or the better species or hybrids from the vegetative propagation. It is not possible to get hybrid from this vegetative propagation. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative reproduction. See, advantages, even small part also can give the entire plant. Short period of time is enough to increase the population, and parental characters are continued from generation after generation, and to develop desirable characters by using artificial method of vegetative propagation. And disadvantages, whatever the diseases the parents contain, the same diseases offspring will be continued. And aquatic ecosystem mainly affect due to the vegetative propagation, and there is no chance of variability by the vegetative propagation. So these are the different types of vegetative propagations. And here we will discuss the small topic regarding vegetative reproduction, that is tissue culture. So next we will discuss that tissue culture. It is also known as micropropagation. Micropropagation. It is a technique by which the plant is developed by using a small tissue or small cell from the plant. So from the parental plant, we will collect one small tissue, somatic cells, which contain somatic cells, and from that tissue, the entire plant will be developed by providing suitable conditions. So in the laboratories, that is called tissue culture, and it is also known as micropropagation, because here we are using very small part, that is tissue is using for the propagation process. So that is micropropagation. So tissue culture is also known as micropropagation. And here another word, totipotency. Totipotency means the cell, a small cell is produced. Small cell can give rise to entire plant. Entire plant. Small cell can give rise to entire plant. So by using tissue culture or micropropagation technique, and that is called totipotency. So totipotency definition is, it is a capability of a cell which gives rise to the entire plant by providing suitable environmental conditions. So it is an artificial technique, and so small cell can give rise to entire cell. That capacity of the cell is called totipotency, and the plant by which this totipotency is developed is called totipotent. Totipotent. And here, how it's possible? A small cell gives us entire plant. If you will take the cell, it contains all chromosomes. All chromosomes means somatic chromosomes and sex chromosomes. All chromosomes are present. So for example, the entire plant in diploid condition if it contains 40 chromosomes. These all chromosomes are present in all cells of the body. So each cell contains 40 cells. So when we are taking this cell to produce the entire plant, so that entire plant contains all the characters because all the chromosomes are incorporated in this single cell. So this cell can be ability or this has ability to produce entire plant. So that's why, and here we are choosing a cell or some tissue, some part of the plant we can using in micro propagation. So by this the new varieties, so many varieties are producing or developing like rice, wheat. So for the which are helps in the green revolution. So that means the increasing in food production. So they are using tissue culture or to develop the new varieties. So here they are using tissue culture. Or when there is the land space is less and demand is more, then we can develop the plants by using tissue culture within a laboratory. By using tissue, the number of plants we can develop. So tissue culture is one of the technique by which the entire plant is developed from a tissue or from a cell. Because reason how we can get this entire plant means reason here each cell contains all the chromosomes, that is in diploid condition. So that's why we are using these cells to develop the new plant or new organism. So this is all the asexual reproduction. And asexual, next when we come to the sexual reproduction, it is completely different from the asexual reproduction. So already we discussed that. What are the differences between asexual reproduction as well as sexual reproduction? So here if you will see in all the cases like in animals or in plants, there is no biparental. That means in the asexual reproduction there is no chance of involving two parents. Only single parent is involved in the asexual processes. And here one more conclusion I will give. Unicellular organisms are immortal. Unicellular organisms are immortal. Why? Is it correct? But it is correct because unicellular organism means it is a single cell. Before it dies, it gives birth. That means the same cell divides to give the two daughter cells. So that means by dividing cell we can't say it died. Okay, it's just divides into two. Just it multiplies its number. So that's why we can say unicellular organisms are immortal. Immortal means there is no death of organism. Okay. So unicellular organisms are immortal because the cell, a single cell, multiplies to increase its number before it dies. So that means we instead of die, we can use it as a degenerate. Before degeneration of the cell, that means before losing of the cytoplasm or other cell organelles, it divides into two daughter cells. So that's why we can say that unicellular organisms are immortal. Okay. So in the next class we will discuss that the sexual reproduction in organisms. Students, assignment will be given to you for these two topics, and today we will send it assignment and check it and write down first assignment and second assignment. There are two assignments are there. So assignment 1, give the date of Monday 18th and assignment 2, give the today's date. Okay, thank you.